Close your eyes for exactly 3 seconds. When you open them, you will believe you are seeing the room exactly as it is. You will trust the solidity of the walls. You will trust the distance to the screen. You will trust the colors. And you will be completely, mathematically wrong. Right now, your optic nerve is feeding your brain a highly compressed, heavily censored fabrication. It is lying to you, and it is doing it to keep you alive. This is not a philosophical metaphor. According to evolutionary game theory and cognitive science published out of the University of California, Irvine, an organism that sees reality as it actually is goes extinct. The truth does not aid survival. The truth is too complex, too heavy, and too overwhelming for a biological processor to handle. So your brain creates a simplified desktop interface. It creates a simulation. Today, we are not looking at quantum physics or ancient texts. We are opening up the biological hardware. We are going to audit the exact neurological bottlenecks that filter out the reality you actually want. We will look at the math of Donald Hoffman, the predictive coding of Karl Friston, and the biophotonic research that proves your body is an antenna. Because until you understand how your nervous system deletes information, you will remain trapped in the exact same reality loop, fighting problems that do not actually exist. Every single second you are awake, your sensory organs are hit with approximately 11 million bits of raw data. This is the full resolution version of the universe, the quantum field in its entirety. However, your conscious mind, the part of you that is listening to these words, is only capable of processing about 40 to 50 bits per second. Take a moment to process the scale of that biological glitch. You are currently ignoring 10,999,950 bits of reality every single second. You are not experiencing the world. You are experiencing a tiny, filtered fraction of the world that your nervous system has deemed relevant for your immediate survival. The space between those 40 bits and the 11 million bits is where your actual potential lives. The solutions to your financial ceilings, your relationship patterns, and your physical health are currently sitting in the data you are biologically programmed to ignore. Dr. Donald Hoffman spent decades running mathematical models of evolution. He wanted to know if natural selection favors accurate perception. In hundreds of thousands of computer simulations, organisms tuned to see the truth were consistently wiped out by organisms tuned to see a fitness payoff. Hoffman concluded that space and time are not fundamental reality. They are simply our species-specific desktop. Think of the computer you might be using right now. If you want to write an email, you click a blue folder icon. That blue folder is not the reality of the computer. The reality of the computer is millions of flickering electrons, silicon wafers, and complex code. If you had to manipulate the raw electrons to write a message, you would fail. The blue folder is a useful fiction. It hides the truth so you can actually do something. Hoffman argues that physical objects are exactly like that blue folder. When you touch a table, you are not touching a fundamental physical object. You are interacting with a dataset that your brain has rendered as a solid shape to prevent your consciousness from being incinerated by the complexity of the quantum field. The problem arises when you mistake the desktop icon for the source code. When you try to change your life by struggling against physical circumstances, you are trying to rewrite a computer program by dragging the blue folder around the screen. It is an extraordinary waste of energy. To bypass this, we must initiate a system override early in our process. We call this the Thalamic Override Protocol. The thalamus acts as the grand central station of the human brain. It takes the 11 million bits of raw data and ruthlessly edits them down to the 50 bits you are allowed to see. If you have spent the last 5 years stressed about money, your thalamus has built a rigid algorithm. It will actively delete any data point any opportunity and any connection that does not fit your established narrative of lack. It assumes you need to see threats to survive. You cannot think your way out of this filter. You have to force the hardware to recalibrate through sensory displacement. Here is the exact mechanism. Sit in total silence. Focus your auditory attention on finding the most distant sound possible. A plane miles away. The hum of traffic. Once you lock onto that distant sound, find a second noise even further out. This specific act of straining for distant, ignored data forces the thalamus to momentarily drop its standard algorithm. While the gate is forced open, you must introduce a new tactile variable. Visualize your specific intended outcome, but do not make it a picture. Make it a physical texture. If your end goal was a piece of fabric, would it feel like cold glass, rough canvas, or heavy silk? Rub your physical thumb and forefinger together and synthesize that texture in your mind. By linking a previously discarded background sound with a novel tactile sensation, you force the thalamus to wire a new neural pathway. You are manually instructing the filter to stop deleting the data of success that is already floating in your 11 million bit stream. Once the filter is bypassed, we must examine how the brain constructs its model. Modern neuroscience no longer believes that the brain passively receives the world. We operate under the predictive coding model, pioneered by neuroscientists like Karl Friston at University College London. Friston proposed that the brain is locked inside a dark, silent skull. It has no direct access to the outside world. All it gets are electrical impulses. To survive, the brain creates a highly detailed internal simulation of what it guesses is happening outside. It projects this model forward. When you look at a coffee cup, you are not seeing the actual cup. You are seeing your brain's best guess of a cup based on prior experience. The incoming light from your eyes is only used to correct errors in the guess. This means your reality is a controlled hallucination. And here is the fatal trap. The brain is obsessed with minimizing surprise. Friston calls this the free energy principle. The brain hates being wrong because being wrong in the wild means death. If your brain has built a predictive model that you are a failure, it will actually warp incoming sensory data to confirm that model. It will cause you to misinterpret a neutral email as an attack. It will make you physically blind to a lucrative pattern in the market. It prefers the comfort of a familiar nightmare over the shock of an unexpected victory. The quantum architect does not try to change the outside world. The architect focuses entirely on updating the internal predictive model. You have to feed the brain undeniable proof of a new reality until the predictive engine has no choice but to update its rendering. We find the mechanics for this update in the research of German biophysicist Fritz Albert Popp. In the 1970s, Popp made a discovery that bridges biology and quantum mechanics. He found that every living cell in the human body emits a faint, continuous stream of light. He called these biophotons. Your DNA functions as a master tuning fork, emitting coherent laser light that regulates cellular function and communicates with the environment. Popp discovered that healthy, thriving biological systems emit highly ordered, coherent light. Stressed, diseased, or traumatized systems emit chaotic, scrambled light. You are a walking, breathing broadcast tower. Your physical body is constantly transmitting an electromagnetic signature into the field around you. When you walk into a room and instantly feel the tension, you are not being psychic. Your biophotons are experiencing a subsensory collision with the disordered light of the people in that room. If your internal predictive model is locked in fear, your biophotonic broadcast will be chaotic. The quantum field, which operates on resonance, will only return chaotic results. You cannot manipulate a coherent reality out of a scrambled signal. This is where the architecture of your nervous system meets the physics of the universe. The Reticular Activating System, a bundle of nerves at the brainstem, acts as your biological search engine. It determines what gets through the thalamic gate. If you feed it vague desires, it ignores them. It requires high-definition, hyperspecific coordinates to change the biophotonic broadcast. You must stop asking the simulation for general improvements. You must isolate a single, hyperspecific data point. The weight of a specific pen on a specific desk. The exact temperature of the air in a specific city. When you obsess over a high-definition coordinate without any attached desperation, your brain is forced to update its predictive model to include it. Your biophotonic signal becomes coherent. The 11 million bits of raw data stop being a chaotic storm and become a sorted, organized pathway. The biological glitch is the illusion of the 40 bits. It is the arrogance of believing that what you see is all there is. Your eyes are an interface. Your brain is a prediction engine. Your body is a light-emitting antenna. You are not a victim of a static, unchangeable world. You are the operator of a highly sophisticated reality rendering machine. Stop complaining about the desktop icons. Stop fighting the blue folders. Bypass the filter. Update the predictive model. Change the broadcast. The source code is waiting.